The final major of the PGA Tour season is here, and it's the 150th Open Championship at the Old Course at St. Andrews. I'm here with my man Justin Pooni to break down the best bets for this week. Let's start Tiger Woods. Dude, when it comes to Tiger Woods, I'm a sucker for a good story. And if he's at a major, I'm going to bet him. Right now, he's at around 66 to 1, 65 to 1. What are your expectations for him this week?
Like you, Albert, I'm a huge sucker for Tiger. Anytime Tiger plays, I'm glued to the TV, going to watch. I still think he has a chance to win because even though 17 months ago he was at the bottom of an embankment, people thought his leg was going to get amputated, he came back to the Masters, made the cut at the Masters, right? If anybody can defy the odds, it's Eldrick Tiger Woods. But as you know, if you want to win a major, you got to be at the top of your game and be playing, get reps in. Tiger hasn't got those reps in. Yes, he's played a couple practice rounds at St. Andrews this week, but as a practice round, the real game, no. So I think Tiger knows St. Andrews like the back of his hand more than anybody else in the field because he's won there twice, which will help him. But I don't think Tiger will be a threat. It'll be great if he just makes the cut, in my personal opinion. So I'll say he makes the cut, and it'll be special on the weekend to see him walk up 18 at St. Andrews, probably for the final time of his career. But winning, I don't think so.
So he did play. He walked 18 holes on Saturday night with Justin Thomas, mostly chipping and putting, and then they played a full practice round less than 12 hours later. So maybe his body is holding up. Obviously, it's different once you get into the heat of it, into the thick of it. But that's the big question, right? Will his body hold up?
Well, that's the thing. Well, St. Andrews is a relatively flat golf course too, which will bode well for him walking around. It's not Augusta, which has all those rolling hills that make it very difficult to walk on. So that bodes well for Tiger, but also the weather. You know, in England, it's going to be blustery conditions, potentially rain on the weekend. It's going to be a little bit chilly. How does that affect the nerves in his leg and the nerves in his body, and how much treatment will he have to get? So that part I'm concerned about, but the flat course does bode well for Tiger this week.
Tiger's mentioned that this is the one, right? He wants to put all his eggs in his basket. Probably the best time for him to win another major is probably going to be here at one of his favorite courses where he's won before. Let's get back on the weather. If the wind is blowing at this course, scores are going to be very high. But if it's tame, which it looks like it will be for the most part, we're going to see a low score. When it comes to betting this tournament, especially at this course, how does that weather factor into your strategy?
What I'm looking at is I want to see guys that can play well under those conditions. So a lot of iron play. Of course, it's very wide open, so guys are going to be inclined to pull the driver and, you know, let it rip. But with the wind factor, it might be better to play conservative. So a guy like Colin Morikawa, who's probably one of the best iron players on planet Earth. His game is kind of tailored very well to a link-style course. So I'm looking at those type of guys who can, you know, shape shots and hit those low draws or those low fades to kind of cut through the wind. That is something that I'm looking at when I'm betting to see who will win the Claret Jug.
It's something to keep in mind. The weather, people are saying this as of right now. The first round could see a little bit of rain and up to 39 kilometers an hour of wind. The worst day for wind apparently is Saturday. The weather people are calling for wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour. And this is the only major where every single golfer tees off on the first hole. There's no split tee time. So we might see some different scoring throughout the day. Obviously, the wind changes coming off of the water, right off the ocean. LIV Tour players, they're eligible to play at the Open. This could be the last time ever we're going to see LIV Tour players and PGA players. I feel like a lot of people could be just simply ignoring these players because they just haven't been on tour. Is there some value there with Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Louis Oosthuizen, Bryson DeChambeau? There has to be, right? These are still very good golfers.
You just said it yourself. They're still very good players. And I think once they've been kind of banished to the LIV Tour or they, you know, defected from the PGA to go play on the LIV Tour, we kind of forgot about them, right? We don't really hear so much about, you know, the DeChambeau.
We hear about them and how much money
they're making. We hear about how much money they're making. We don't hear about what they're doing on the course, right? But like you mentioned, there are some really good players out there. A guy like Bryson DeChambeau. As much as everybody hates Patrick Reed, you cannot deny the talent is there, right? So while I think that they do have an opportunity, I think Dustin Johnson is still one of the best golfers in the world, and his game, with the shot ability he can make, he can win a major tournament at St. Andrews, right? I don't know, right? Like, I think the grind and the coursework that we've heard from the LIV, it hasn't been up to PGA snuff, so I believe that could be a factor, and it could benefit all the PGA players going forward. So, yes, but I don't think it'll be a LIV thing.
Yeah.
How weird would it be to have a LIV Tour guy?
Imagine with the LIV Tour gear on, like this guy?
Yeah, and imagine the media coverage of it and what it would be like. I'd be all there for it, but I just don't see it happening.
Right now, I mean, you can get a guy like Bryson at 60, 65 to 1. DJ is still in that 30 to 41 range. I actually like Patrick Reed. We'll get into that, which is crazy. That's kind of my long shot. Don't like the guy personally, but he's a really good golfer. Let's talk about some of your picks.
Yeah.
So Tiger Woods, we're on the same page. But you actually feel there's a chance, though. Not just the fact that he's a bit older and he hasn't played in a while, but there's a chance.
The thing about Tiger is he's got a brilliant golf mind, right? We saw it when he won the Masters, right? He didn't win it in traditional Tiger fashion, which was before where he would overpower a golf course. He didn't use his mind. And I think Tiger's mind for golf is still as sharp as ever. His body might not hold up, but if somehow he can, get a solid round one, build on that, and get some confidence, we could see it. I wouldn't put money on it, but we could. But my best bet is the defending champ, Collin Morikawa.
Right.
As I mentioned, his iron play is stellar. And also, we were talking earlier about having that dog in you, Collin Morikawa was very open this week. I would say how he hated giving back the claret jug because it's tradition at the Open Championship. You keep it for the year and then you give it back. And he was very open in his press conference saying, it sucked giving it back. And he has that ability to want to prove to himself and prove to the golf world that, hey, I can repeat. So I like Collin Morikawa at plus 30 to 1 or plus 3,000. I'm a big proponent of Collin Morikawa's game and the way his iron play is. I think he can win. But don't sleep on a guy like Xander Schauffele, who just won last week at the Scottish Open. He's played very well.
I'm always hesitant taking guys who are coming off wins heading into a major.
Yeah, that's true, because I know it takes a lot to win, but I really like the way Xander Schauffele's game has gone so far. He's played very well. Of course, Rory coming in the top 10 in every major of this year so far. But when I put all the factors in, I think it's Collin Morikawa.
What do you think of Jordan Spieth? He's played in 8 Open Championships. He's won one, runner-up the last year. He finished 4th at the last St. Andrews one. Finished T10 of the Scottish Open as well. He seems to be putting it together right now at 16 to 1.
Spieth, to me, I just remember when Spieth was going on that rise, we thought he was the next one, and he kind of fell off. I haven't really... His game goes in ebbs and flows, right? There's times where he'll be on an absolute heater and he looks like, hey, Jordan Spieth is back. But I just don't think his mental makeup is conducive to winning an Open Championship.
Okay, now I got my long shot who I mentioned. Patrick Reed, 100 to 1. 10th, T28, T12, T20. This is at the British Open. If someone could put it together and it's got a very good golf game, it's him. I mean, if his odds were around 30 to 1, 41, 50, I probably wouldn't even look at him. Yeah. But 100 to 1.
Yeah, I mean...
This is a major winner here.
He is a major winner and he's extremely talented, but he's not the most likable guy.
Right.
And I feel like people don't want to see Patrick Reed win.
No one does. But if you're sprinkling at 100 to 1, you want to see him win, right?
Exactly, right? With those odds, I could see that long shot. Long shot wise for me, man, maybe a guy like Corey Connors.
Okay, Canadian.
He played really well at the Open last year.
Right.
He's got that link style course. He shoots a low draw, which will cut through the wind. But his putting to me, if he can put his putting together, he's got a chance. But I don't think I'm still gonna stick with Morikawa.
Morikawa is your guy. I'm going Woods and Spieth, my 2 number 1 picks, and Patrick Reed 100 to 1. Probably not going to happen, but I think it's worth the bet. Don't forget, this kicks off this Thursday. Tiger Woods teeing off at 9:59 p.m. Not p.m. a.m.
A.M.
Imagine p.m. I'm throwing everybody off.
Yeah.
A.m. Eastern time.